Okay, students, I want to talk to you about the directions for this assignment. So we are in our class and we're on the cultural analysis essay. And this is probably one of the biggest essays that you will write because we are being assessed at an institutional level of your ability to demonstrate the behavior of written communication and critical thinking. So I am going to be super strict on making sure you have all the requirements. So we're right here, directions for the cultural analysis. All right, so you're going to think about our world, think about our culture and how this changed. What are some things in our culture that have had an impact on our society? So think about one thing in our world that has changed. This paper will deal with modern day culture and modern day society. Don't talk about things 50 years ago. You can compare it to 50 years ago, but you're not. You think about things that are changed today. Think about the media, the government, trends. Think about where you fit in this society. Is there something in this culture that has shaped your society? And has your society shaped a culture? So, like, has your generation shaped the culture we're in today? So, those are just some probing questions that I want to get you thinking. This essay will make you critically analyze the world around you. So, I want you to brainstorm. Now I want you to think about issues going on in our world that have impacted us in some way. Think back to 50 years ago and has it changed and why? And compare and contrast that. And I'm going to give you an example of that in another video. So the assignment is you're going to have 5 paragraphs, an introduction, a body 1, a body 2, a body 3, and a conclusion. So in the introduction, you're going to provide an overview of the issue. So it's going to be 5, 6, 7 sentences, well-developed sentences. This whole entire essay should be 2 full pages, no less. It should not be 1.5. It should be 2 full pages. So, put yourself in the position to where you can write that many sentences. So like if you have an introduction with 5 or 6 sentences, then body 1 will probably be 8 sentences, body 2 probably 7 or 8 sentences, body 3 same, and then conclusion sometimes is a little shorter. So make sure you address changes necessary for growth and development. So I would say something about change is always necessary for growth and development. Generation after generations have experienced changes within their society and culture. So you're just going to make some big, bold, general statements. Make sure you address how society is always changing, always transforming, and always evolving. Then, this is key. This is what I'm looking for. In the last sentence of the introduction paragraph, you're going to have your claim or your thesis. And so it's going to be, for example, from one of your classmates, they wrote, the Black Lives Matter movement has transformed our society with many positive effects on human rights, systematic racism, and politics. So you can see I've underlined these 3 things because this is your first reason how the Black Lives Matter movement has transformed society. Human rights. So that's that's everything in body 1. Then I underlined the second thing, and it's separated with comma, and that's systematic racism. And then politics would be body 3. So in human rights, you're going to go down to body 1, and you're going to write all about how whatever you chose, this student chose Black Lives Matter, but whatever you chose, how that movement has changed human rights issues in today's society. And then you can compare it to as in 50 years ago, human rights may have looked different. And then you can say, but today, blah, 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 blah. Now, here's the kicker. I need only one source in this whole essay. I don't want 5 sources. I don't want 2 sources. I want one source because I have to show that you're kind of starting to understand that sometimes you need to go get evidence. So I need you to use one source in body 1 about how Black Lives Matter movement, or whatever you chose, has changed culture today with human rights. So you're going to have one source in body 1. I'm going to look to see, do you have one source? Do not just highlight and copy and paste a huge quote and put it in there. It has to be one source. Then you're going to do body 2, and you're going to talk about systematic racism. No sources are needed. And body 3, politics, no sources are needed. But you still analyze how Black Lives Matter movement has affected systematic racism in our culture today, and how the Black Lives Matter movement has affected politics and our system and culture today. Then the conclusion. So really, I'm looking for the introduction, body 1. I want body 2 and body 3 to be good, but then the conclusion, and all of this information needs to be addressed in the conclusion. So your conclusion paragraph is so important. I need you to make sure you have most of these ideas in your conclusion. The first sentence should address why this issue is important in society and the purpose for this essay. Then you need to include information like my awareness of the world today and yesterday is important because, or you need to say, my role in society is blah, 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 blah. My responsibility as a global citizen is to be aware, blah, 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 blah. Those phrases need to be in your essay. And then you need to finish this paragraph with a sentence about the implications of this issue. And if it's not corrected in our society, and what type of reader would benefit from reading. So it could be something like this example. The Black Lives Matter movement has shifted conversations from lawmakers, educators, and government agencies in society to address inequalities of human rights, systematic racism, and politics that have been overlooked for decades. Without this movement, continued inequities would still be at the forefront of our daily lives, where all people are not afforded equal opportunities to advance in society. What I'm looking for is what would happen if we did not address this issue today, that we did not think critically about this issue today, whatever you choose, communication, social media, police training, Black Lives Matter, government issues. So you need to make sure that you address that. And then I need to say, who is the audience? Like, who needs to read this paper? So why is this issue important, and how has it shifted the conversation from just these people to a wider societal issue? So this is the deepest essay that you will write. I look forward to reading your essays.